Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching the Model 3 Tip of the Week.
All right, so what are we talking about this week?
This week was the Jeda wireless charger. We talked about, well, does it work?
Let's find out. All right, so I have the Jeda charger here, and it's funny. It looks almost identical to the little piece of rubber. It's thicker. But yeah, for those of you who are uninitiated, the Model 3 has a charging system of its own already in place. So just to give you a little idea, you have a little, I have a USB-C, you can choose whatever you want, connector, which your phone can then sit on and start charging. And the only issue with that is that you do have to kind of line up your phone. You can't just kind of sit it on there and push it down. You have to find where the charger is and then sit it down. But I mean, it's fine. It charges. Everything about that is great in my opinion. So as you can see underneath, you have a little USB cord here that dangles down from here. And just to give you an idea of what's underneath, you can kind of slide this bottom piece off to reveal the cord, which comes up. And then if you pull off the rubber, which is easier, up like this, you can see how the cable is routed. So it's just routed behind it. And again, this all works and it's all very convenient, but I'm going to install the Jeda charger now. So I'm going to pull this guy out of here. All right, so now that I pulled that out, I can't remember if you need this in or not for the putting in the Jeda. So it just sort of sits right in there. But of course we need the cables, so I need to pull it out again. It's kind of nice that it has this little nose here of sorts.
What's that nose for?
That is so that way when you're making turns, the phone won't slide around. Because as it stands currently, you'd have a little charger sticking into your phone, and that would keep the phone from sliding around, as well as it sitting on nice tacky rubber. But since your phone is no longer going to be attached to anything, it's important to keep it from sliding around.
And what does this rubber feel like?
It honestly feels identical as the Tesla standard rubber. So.
And see this little feet here?
Yep.
Did these feet line up with those feet?
Yeah, so they have the same 4 locating spots here, which fit into these 4 here. They don't have the little grippers. So here, I'll give you a good view of it. You can see that those actually, fit into these holes and hold the rubber on. You don't really need it with this configuration. It just sits on like that. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It has 2 ports in the back. Now you might be saying, why the 2 ports? Well, you need to charge 2 phones, right? On the back it says P and L. So the P stands for portrait and the P and L stands for portrait and landscape. And these plugs correlate to the pads on the front. Portrait mode on this side correlates to portrait mode right here. And then portrait and landscape equates to portrait here or landscape here. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So that's actually kind of nice. So that way, if you're the driver and you want to put your phone portrait or landscape, you only need to take up 1 USB slot. So for people who have, I have a phone that does not wirelessly charge, but my girlfriend does. So I, the driver, can have it just be portrait and landscape, which means if you're a driver who has a wireless phone, there's a good chance you actually want to install this. And if your significant other, or whoever you're usually driving with, doesn't need wireless charging or doesn't have wireless charging, you can simply just plug one of these USB cables into the portrait and landscape, and then the driver has the portrait and landscape positions, which they can use for their phone. But we're gonna try it with both. So I'm gonna plug in both in the back here. We're going to take our 2 USB cables, run them down the corresponding slots, attach our charger, then fold up this guy here, plug in both. And now, if you put a phone there with wireless charging enabled, it will begin to charge, as you can tell from that red light. So this means that the entire time the phone is going to be charging while you're driving or whatever like that, and all you have to do is just pop it down on either of the spots. So the other advantage, and a really smart idea that they did, was to include landscape mode. So if you put your phone in sideways like that, if you wanted to do some navigation, it'll also charge. So I mean, that is a really smart feature, because right now you can't, right? You can't put your phone in sideways and charge it. And in fact, if you were to put it in sideways, you'd have, you know, scratches here and here from the two, you know, USB ports that would be scratching your phone the whole time. This way, it holds it all very nicely. All right, so I know one thing that you might be thinking. Okay, I'm going to install this wireless charger, but either I or whoever is going to, you know, be in the car with me a lot doesn't have a wirelessly charged phone, which means that kind of sucks for them because they're not actually going to be able to wirelessly charge. And in fact, how are they going to charge their phone? So this is where having two charging ports is very helpful. So if you want to, you can come under here, unplug one of the USB cords, and you can actually detach it from the unit itself. So you can come in, plug in just a standard USB cable that you want to charge your phone with, and then your passenger can plug in their phone and their phone can start charging as well, which means that then you can have your phone wirelessly charging, and you can also have your passenger sitting and playing on their phone. Now, there's one other aspect to this, and that is there are little holes right here, which means that if you want to, you could do something like this. So you can be charging two phones, one wirelessly and one non-wirelessly, at the same time. The only downside here is that I have not figured out a way to have this trim piece sitting here. I think there might be some kind of special USB cord that you might be able to get in order to have that work, but honestly, your passenger is most likely not going to want their phone sitting in the center console to charge. They usually want to hold it. That just means that instead you'll have your trim piece back, and your passenger will again just be sitting, charging their phone, holding it in their lap or something like that. Anyway, that's the Jeda charger. I hope you enjoyed it. Click the link down below to buy one yourself. Thanks so much for watching. Now you know.
But what'd you think about it?
So, I mean, I thought that it was really cool. You have this, you know, wireless pad that hooks up to your existing, USB ports. And if you have a phone which is wirelessly charged, mine isn't, but my girlfriend's is, you can just pop your phone on there, start charging, boom.
I like that you could flip it vertical or horizontal,
Right.
and I also like that it felt really well made. It didn't feel chintzy.
Right, it almost felt nicer having that there than the usual rubber pad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was really smart. It also had little spaces for you to plug in your phone.
Right.
In case you don't have a wireless phone, in which case probably don't buy it unless you're planning on getting a wireless charging phone. I don't know. I look forward to when I can actually use it.
Anyway, comment below if you've got some more tips for us or some questions that you want us to answer. Thank you so much for watching.
Now you know.